All right, well, Daniel's out tonight. He's at a conference. She didn't tell me she's going to be not out, so maybe she'll be coming in here in about a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and get started as far as our in-class stuff. We're going to be going over strings tonight. And then the in-class is on entering in a username, first and last name, and then switching them around. And adding in date format as well, so string manipulation mainly. And in PHP, string manipulation is used quite a bit to manipulate the string from user input or data input to validate user input as well. So here's a reading for the page for 9 reading. I'm going to go over some of these here. First I'm going to go over is a 5-string function. This one right there. Huh? Yeah. Loading ever so slowly. Remoting in, that's what happens. There she is. Once I go to this one, then it finally loads. There it is. Okay. Manipulating strings. Let's go over that. So we'll look at some ways to manipulate, parsing, comparing, handling, form submissions, and then manipulating strings from form submissions. So within a text, basically constructing strings in PHP, a text string basically just contains 0 or more characters, surrounded by double or single quotes. Text strings can be used as literal values or assigned to a variable. So in this example, you got echo, and then you got some HTML code for p tag, Dr. Livingston, I presume, the semicolon, and then explore equals Henry M. Stanley, echo explore. And so both works. So it can be either done as a literal string or it can be done as a literal variable. So text strings can be surrounded by single quotation marks, like so. We'll look at some examples here. To include a quoted string with a literal string surrounded by quotation mark, double quotation marks, you surround the quoted string with a double, with a string with a single quotation mark. To include a quoted string with a literal string surrounded by single quotation marks, you surround the quoted string with a double quotation mark. And this is what it looks like here. So you've got an example here of a single quotation, beginning of the line here on P, NP, but notice you want to include that quotation in the actual website, you would do the double quotation here. So that keeps the double quotation by doing it this way, having a single quote on both ends and then your double quote internally. So this would basically let you continue to see that double quote, but in order to do that, you have to outwardly connect it with a single quote. Another example in PHP using 2 operators to combine strings. So you have the word Paris and France, destination's Paris, location's France, destination equals p tag dot, that's the concatenating character, destination dot, end quote, is in dot location dot end quote dot p tag. And so we'd echo this out to the screen. It would actually have in there, if I can go on further here, well, let's go back one. It would actually concatenate together destination, and then the reason there's a space before and, well, really literally after the dot and before location, even though it doesn't look good on this PDF here, there's a space right here, is just for spacing purposes. So it would be Paris, France, or it actually be Paris is in France, would be putting those two together in one string. And so when they echo destination, it would echo the entire string, Paris is in France. The next one here is using the equal sign, the dot equal. So you have, say, destination equals beginning p tag Paris. Next line, destination dot equals. That's concatenating, getting ready to concatenate the last line the destination had, which right now destination has Paris in it on the first line. Second line still has Paris, but now we're going to add a dot equals. We're going to keep adding or appending to that now. So Paris is in France will now be the destination. So this would be to concatenate or add to, append to a string, you would use that. And that's nice to use, especially if you have a long string. You don't want it to go all the way across the edge of the page. You could do something like this, line by line. Adding escape characters and sequences. So an escape character tells the compiler or interpreter that the character that is beginning to follow is a special purpose. So let's look at this middle example here. In PHP, the escape character is a backslash. So we have echoing p tag Marilyn Monroe's, and notice the escape backslash is right before the apostrophe S. Real name was Norma Jean Baker. So what this is going to do is allow for that special character to be included in the string. If you didn't put that backslash before the apostrophe, PHP would think that would be the end of the string after the E. And so you'd have to put that backslash to include that special character. In this case, it's the apostrophe. Do not add a backslash before an apostrophe if you surround the text string with a double quote. So if we have, in this example, everything surrounded with the double quotes on the whole string. Marilyn Monroe's real name was Norma Jean Baker. You don't need that. The only time you need it is if you have the single quote on the beginning and end. Okay. Here's some other characters, escape characters combined with one or more characters. It's called escape sequence. So we have backslash, inserts a backslash dollar sign, inserts a dollar sign, backslash inserts a carriage return, backslash quote, double quote, inserts a double quotation mark, backslash T inserts a horizontal tab, backslash N inserts a new line, backslash regular expression includes a character, inserts a character in hexadecimal notation that matches the regular expression. And you saw those in the regex, you use a lot of those backslashes. So here we have an example of adding escape characters and sequences. We have Explorer equals Henry and Stanley, echoing the P tag. We want to include that double quotation mark for Dr. Livingston, so we put the backslash, Dr. Livingston, comma, I presume, question mark, backslash, end quote, asked Henry M. Stanley is what Explorer would stand up. So it would end up looking like this here. And so in order to do that, in order to make it look like that, you have to include the backslash here and here to include the quotes here. Make sense? Simple and complex string syntax. So simple string syntax uses the value of a variable within a string by including the variable name inside a text string with double quotes. So you have vegetable equals broccoli in double quotes, echoing out, do you have any vegetable, which would be broccoli. So in this case, you don't need to put anything special. You just put the variable in there with the $, and it kicks out just fine in double quotes. When variables are placed within curly brackets inside of a string, it's called a complex string syntax. So if we have a vegetable equals carrot, and then we're echoing out, do you have any vegetables? In this case, it would be carrots, plural. You would do it like this. And so this would basically be a complex string. If we want to include it in there like that, and maybe add an S on the end of it, you would use a curly brackets. Parsing is the act of extracting characters from a substring, from a larger string. We're going to do that in just a second on the end class. When programming, parsing refers to extraction of information from a string of literal and variables. Counting strings, counting characters and words. The most common used string counting function is string_len, which returns the total number of characters in any given string. There's other ones, though. You have str word count, returns the number of words in a string. str_spn, that one takes two arguments, string 1 and string 2. This returns the initial number of characters in one string that do not match in another string. So it's basically on this one would be how many characters in string 1 does not match values in string 2. String_len returns the length of the characters in a string. str_spn, two arguments there, returns the initial number of characters in one string that have match in another. So this one would match whatever, it would search for string in string 2, what's in string 1, and find a match. str_count, two variables, a string and a search string. This returns the number of occurrences of a certain string. So the first argument would be the actual text that you're searching. The second argument would be the word you're searching within the text. And that would give you the number of occurrences for that word. So str word count, again, is the most popular, gives the number of words in a string. It's a literal string function whose words you want to count. So the cask of Amontillado, if you were to put that into a variable and do a count, it would give you the book contains, and then however many letters is in that string, words. So we'll say the words contain 20 words, whatever's in there, how many's in there. And here's some other ones. str_ipause performs a case-insensitive search from, you have the string itself, and then the search string and the start position. The start position on this one is not needed. It's an optional, but the first two are needed. str_str performs a case-insensitive search from a specified character in a string and returns a substring from the first occurrence of the specified characters. So this would be your source, and then your search string that you want to search. str_pause, your source, and then your search string, and then maybe a start position, like say 30 or something. This performs a case-sensitive search and returns a position of where you say found the word the, or you found the, word, investigate, or whatever it is you're looking for in the string. str_chr looks for a specific character. Again, the string and whatever character you're looking for. So you're looking for the character B, or you're looking for the character A. It's going to return that value, return that position. str_ipause performs a case-sensitive search and returns a position of the last occurrence of one string in another. str_pause is carried over on this one. str_str, This one performs a case-sensitive search for specified characters in a string and returns a substring from the first occurrence of the specified characters to the end of the string. And this one needs a source again, and then what you're searching for. And it's going to basically extract that string from that and return that substring. str or substr returns a portion of the string. So we'll say, for instance, bless you, the string was Washington, and you only wanted to start at 4, or say 3. You want to start at 3. It would start with 3 all the way to the end, so you would only get the after the H in Washington would be the return value. Two types of string searches can happen when you're finding a string: functions that return a numeric position, and then functions that return the actual character or string itself that you're looking for. So you have a number or a character string that you're looking for. strpos, I've already mentioned what that one is. Basically looking for a case-sensitive search. There is one that's used a lot. I'll show you here if I can find the example here. str replace is used a lot, and stri replace not so much. str replace will take a certain string, find the seed for that string, and basically what it's going to do is the string you want to search for, or replacement string, and the string in which you want replacement characters to be found. So example here, email equals president@whitehouse.gov. New email, str replace president with vice president will return vice.president@whitehouse.gov. Okay, that's a popular one that's used a lot, str replace. This one's not so much used. str talk functions a break in a smaller string called tokens. That one's not used a lot. Converting, definitely this one's used a lot. Converting between strings and arrays using the str split and explode will take a long string and split it up for you. str split function splits one character into a string into an array and then uses the syntax. And so you have array equals str split. String is the argument that is needed. The length is not needed. That's optional. You don't have to have that. If you don't put anything in the length, it splits from that string itself that you're wanting to, the argument that you're wanting to split. So the length argument represents the number of characters you want assigned to each array. Explode splits a string into an indexed array on a specific separator. So this one's used a lot. So say you have a string of numbers, or a string of a text with commas in it. You want to separate it by commas. You would put the explode, whatever separator, so we'll say commas would be the one we put in there, a comma. And then the string would be the source you're pulling it from. So here we have an example of presidents equals George W. Bush, semicolon, William Clinton, semicolon, George H.W. Bush, semicolon, Ronald Reagan, semicolon, Jimmy Carter. We're going to explode it on the semicolon character. And so when it kicks out, we're using a for each array, a for each loop. It's going to kick out each president one by one. So it'll be George W. Bush first line, William Clinton second line, so on and so forth on a for each loop. This for each loop means for each president array as president. This one here is the actual array that was gotten above here on this line. As president is just an object that we're going to use. And so for each president as an object, each president array as an object, it's going to loop it one by one, starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 loops. If the string does not contain the specified characters or separators, the entire string is assigned to the first element of the array, and it would kick out everything on the very first loop. Explode, already went over that one. It explodes it by an actual separator. Should give an example here. This is implode, not used that often. We'll look at this one though. So you have president array. President's array, array is George W. Bush, same presidents as before. Implode by comma. The output of a string created would be this, George W. Bush, comma, William Clinton, H.W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter. So it's going to basically take that and push them out into one line with just one echo statement. It's going to implode them. One echo statement is going to separate them by it. Comparing strings, this is used a lot in PHP. So you have Florida equals Miami is in Florida, Cuba, Havana is in Cuba. If Florida equals to Cuba, same location, else different location. So the operator here is right there, equal to. Do what? That would be for like numeric or integer or numeric, And I think they might go over that one here in a second. First letter A, second letter B. If second letter is greater than first letter, the second letter